Good evening and welcome to the Financial Week. I'm Javon Keys. Now back to the Economic Program Oversight Committee's meeting. Now the EPOC says Jamaica's economic performance indicators are moving in the right direction. EPOC Chair Keith Duncan shared the committee's assessment at a briefing yesterday. Mr. Duncan says Jamaica's fiscal deficit, which is the difference between the government's income and spending, was lower than budgeted.
The fiscal deficit was, I believe, to be projected to be at 34.4 billion, came in at 18.6 billion. So we're doing better than targeted in relationship to our fiscal deficit. There was a primary surplus of 6.1 billion against a projected deficit of 10.2 billion. So this deficit overperformance resulted from a shortfall in expenditure by 2.3%, along with revenues and grants outperforming budget.
Meanwhile, the government collected more taxes than projected for the first 2 months of the 2023-2024 fiscal year. Mr. Duncan says for April and May, government revenues and grants amounted to $129.8 billion.
Exceeded the budget targets by 12.3 billion. 10.5% due to solid tax revenues, robust tax revenues continue. The growth in tax revenues continue, right? As tax revenues grew by $18.7 billion or 18.3% higher than the previous year, right? So therefore, tax revenues and grants were $22 billion above the same period of last year of $107 billion. So the economy continues to show underlying strength.
He says two main categories of taxes saw increased inflows, with one linked to the new compensation regime.
PAYE, which is ahead of target by 35% or 5.7 billion. So that speaks to our employment numbers and that more people are now paying PAYE, right? Travel tax, because visitor arrivals continue to exceed targets, is higher by 1.3 billion, 33% higher than budget. Tax and interest, because of the higher interest rates, we're ahead of budget by 32% or 1.3 billion. GCC imports, showing that there's underlying strength in the economy, was up by 1.2 billion. Non-tax inflows also increased significantly.
The pay-as-you-earn PAYE or income tax rate for individuals is 25% of one's annual salary, where income is between $1.5 and $6 million. 30% is charged on one's taxable income once it exceeds 6 million Jamaican dollars. No income tax is charged where one's income is below $1.5 million. Let's head to the foreign currency market now. Banks and cambios are selling the US dollar for an average $155.57. $118.12 is the going rate for the Canadian dollar. The average cost for the pound is $203.45, while it's costing $176.54 for the euro. The JSE index declined by 2,073 points today, while the junior market index lost 62 points. Among the 35 winners were Jamaica Public Service 7% shares, JMB Group 7.5% shares, First Rock Real Estate Investments, Edufocal, and Sagicor Select Funds. Now to the losers. ISP Finance Services was amongst the 59 losers. Caribbean Cream, Lasco Distributors, Cargo Handlers, and Jamaica Teas. Now 11 of the 99 stocks which crossed the floor traded firm. And that's the Financial Week. I'm Javon Keys. Good evening.